Hello, welcome to the world's best hummus recipe using 12 ingredients. All right, so the first thing is we have water, then we have chickpeas, garbanzo beans, we have olive oil, pepper, salt, paprika, parsley, garlic powder, tahini, some olives, some ginger, and a lemon. So the very first thing is that you always want to start with dry chickpeas, never out of a can, because the skins are hard on them and you will never get a smooth consistency. So I do 1 cup and it makes 2 cups of chickpeas, and that makes the right amount for myself. And then so I put them down in the morning. I soak them in this thing, and then they're ready by the time I get home from work, ready to make hummus. And so I always soak them with a little bit of salt, say like about a teaspoon of salt, because it's good for the cooking, and it's like minerals in the water and stuff like that. So it's not just so it's good. And then when you get home, you want to take these beans and you want to drain them, and then you want to rinse them really well, and make sure that all of the stuff is out of them, and then get them ready to go into the Instant Pot, which is the thing that I love for cooking beans and grains. It just works really well. And so put that in there, and then put the water in. Bada bing, bada boom. Just enough so they're kind of covered, like a little bit, not too much. Stop there. And then, important part is this is where the ginger comes in. So ginger is what is known as a carminative. So like basically every spice that you've ever heard of is a carminative, and it is something that helps with it helps with digestion. And so I always put like a few pieces in there. You could use a variety of herbs or spices, but I just always go with ginger. I always keep it on hand for this purpose exactly. Okay, so we have our ginger in our thing. Oh, and then a little bit more salt. So I personally use 2 different types of salts for my cooking. One is a mix of like mine salts. It's like Himalayan and like a real salt. It comes from like mine somewhere in the States. And I use that for cooking only because it's like has undissolved minerals in it, and I don't want that stuff going into my body. And then I use fleur de sel, which is like a finishing salt for anything that I eat. So then I take that, got the salt and the ginger in there, bring this over here, put it in the Instant Pot, put it on pressure cook for 15 minutes. I don't need it to stay warm. Always check the seal, put the lid on, bada bing, bada boom, ready to go. Using salt in the soaking process as you're rehydrating the beans, and then using salt in the cooking process. Just to, remineralize all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't make them go soft or bad or anything like that. I do this with any kind of bean, regardless of whether I'm putting it through a blender, or if I'm just going to eat it like as a whole bean in a salad or something like that. And then so in the meantime, I like to prepare the things that I will eat with my hummus. I prefer a fairly raw food diet. I mean, this is cooked food, but I like it. I feel good when I eat beans, and so I will eat it with fresh veggies. I keep my veggies in these green bags in the fridge because it stays longer, way longer. Like, stuff never goes bad. I swear by these things. They're so good. All right, so in the meantime, I have cut up some broccoli, carrots, and celery, and we'll put them in this nice bowl here because presentation is everything. Da-da-ding, da-da-do. Ta-da! All right, so we have our cooked chickpeas here, and this is the secret to good hummus. So step 1, you need to take the ginger out of there. And the secret is that you never let the chickpeas cool. You take them and you bring them to the sink and you strain them, but you never let them cool down. And so I'm gonna strain them, and I gotta put my camera down. But the point is that you do it with hot water when you rinse them, and you give them a good rinse. All right, and so there it is. There are these strained chickpeas. And then into the high-speed blender. Oops, I lost a couple there. No worries. Couple of things, and then we start adding the ingredients. So this whole thing goes kind of like this. You put in, say, 1 to 2 tablespoons of tahini. I put in that amount. It's just too much is no good. Maybe a little bit less, because it'll have a little bit of a bitter taste. Cooking is a fine balance. You can't ever put too much of anything. Then some parsley, just a little bit. I guess it's probably like a teaspoon. And then, you know, like a quarter teaspoon of garlic powder. I put it in because even though I don't usually eat garlic, but it adds a note to it. I think of cooking it very much like making music. There's high, lows, and tones, high, mids, lows, and they all need to be represented, or else the sound isn't full. And then got over here, got this lemon. So it is basically the juice of 1 lemon. Nothing like a great citrus press. Bada bing, bada boom. I got this one. It's called a Bellarmine stainless steel, and I got it off Amazon. I got sent a couple of knockoffs and that I had to return until they got me a good one. So there's that, right? This stuff in here. So the lemon, juice of 1 lemon, got the parsley, got that. And then the next thing is salt. You have to add salt. So I use fleur de sel because I like the crystals that grow on top of the ocean and make salt. And you have to add enough too. I mean, the dish needs to be seasoned properly. And then ground black pepper is the thing. And then you need to add water. So hot water, because keeping everything hot. So, and it's just enough so that it's just below the level of the top of the beans. And it has to be enough to keep it going on the high-speed blender. Oops. And that is basically it. You know, it's done. It's well blended, and then you got to put it into a dish and get it ready. So I always like to use a bowl that has a lid so that if I don't eat it all, I can put it back in there. All right, so then once you have your hummus in your bowl, I always like to use a little bit of this paprika. Really, it's just for color, and it's not spicy. This is smoked paprika because it looks pretty. And then a little bit of parsley, once again, just for color. There's already parsley in it. And then olive oil. I use a good amount of olive oil. I'm just finishing this olive oil off, so just gonna dump it right in there. You know, it's not about, I figure it's pretty healthy anyways. And then that's it, you know. I might put a little bit of salt on top just because I like it like that. and I know how I like it. I mean, there's no kidding yourself when it's like, you know how you like it, so you might as well just make it how you like it. And that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, what we have is hummus with veggies. I used to eat it with little crackers, but I don't anymore because I like a nice balance of raw and cooked. I find one cooked thing is enough, not two. And that's it. So I hope that helps. Anybody that wants to make hummus. Oh, and there's one more thing that I cannot forget because I always like go out of my way to do this. I love to have olives with hummus. I just throw them right there. Boom. And it's just, yes, thank you very much. The icing on the cake, so good. And that is the end.